Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie. In this video we are going to be testing out a bunch of new makeup products from Revolution Beauty, Makeup Revolution, because they always just seem to be releasing new things. So we've got like the new Conceal and Hydrate Concealer, Foundation, we've got some of the new Revolution Pro products that came out like about a month or so ago. We have got a full face. The only thing that I don't have is eyeliner and mascara because they've not released any new products in terms of those. I saw on Instagram that they are actually going to bring out some new mascaras like early next year and also some false eyelashes, so I will look forward to that. I did do a testing new Revolution Beauty earlier in the year, so I guess I'm just going to keep doing them when like a considerable amount of new products come out, and if I'm interested then I might as well just keep doing them, and that's what's happened today. I've actually got 3 first impressions videos that I'm doing this month, this being one of them, just full faces testing new makeup for September. One of them might be up next month just because I ordered the Coty Airspun powder for one of them, and Amazon's telling me that that's not coming until the end of September, so one of those videos might be quite late. It might end up being October. I'm going to start off with the concealers because I like to test out the concealers just on my bare skin and my eye area on their own, just to see what the coverage is like. So I picked up 2 of the new Conceal and Hydrate Radiance concealers, and I've got 0.2 and I've got 0.3. The idea was one to brighten, one to match my face. Whether that works out, we'll see. I also got the new Revolution Pro Ultimate Coverage Crease Proof Concealer. This is in 0.2 as well, and this is meant to be like a full coverage concealer. It's supposed to cover like tattoos and stuff. Considering that this is a full coverage concealer, I kind of want to try this one out first. My veins are very prominent on my eyelids today, and you know, I have got a bit of a purple circle going on underneath. So we will see how this covers. I have swatched this and it's definitely a very sticky sort of formula. I feel like a little may go a long way with this. It's very thick. So I'm just gonna, oh my god, it is so like sticky and thick. I don't know how much I'm gonna need. I'll just do this on one eye so you can kind of see it with obviously on one eye and then with bare skin so you can see the difference. And then I'll put the Conceal and Hydrate on the other eye so you can see them next to each other, and then I'll take this one off so you can see the Conceal and Hydrate with nothing on the other eye. See, I feel like this could possibly like blend out better with a finger, but I've got my sponge here so we'll just go with it. The shade is definitely slightly lighter. Yeah, I would say it's definitely a bit lighter than my skin tone, so I'd probably use this to brighten. That is what we call coverage. I mean, I feel like I can't really see veins now, can't really see my under eye bag. I mean, I feel like it's pretty full coverage, if I'm honest, which is good for a cheap concealer. The consistency like is a bit weird. It's not like my favourite sort of consistency just because it is very kind of sticky and thick. But I don't feel like it looks like overly dry or anything. It does settle into lines a bit, but nothing major, considering that all concealers do that to me. I wouldn't say it looks super duper heavy. We obviously will have to see what it's like over the top of makeup because this is just on my bare skin, so it might look heavier or it might blend better with foundation underneath. We'll see. But from first impressions, I am definitely really impressed with the coverage. I just get a good like side by side there. I feel like you can see a very like severe difference. Close my eyes. Like that's definitely some major coverage. So I would agree with the full coverage aspect of it. It does also claim to be crease proof, which, listen, now you can see there's going to be crease proof on my skin, and especially if it's full coverage. If it's full coverage, it's going to crease. Like that's just a bit of a silly claim to make in my opinion, but I don't feel like it's overly creasy. Like I don't look at this and immediately think, wow, that's such a creasy concealer, so I'll give it something for that, because all concealer's going to crease me. I don't feel like it's done it majorly. It's done it like a bit, you can definitely see there, but this is like kind of what your average concealer does to my skin. So we'll put Conceal and Hydrate on the other side. I'm going to use the 0.2 shade, so we'll match. And then we can see those 2 side by side. I'm not expecting this to be as good coverage as this side because I don't feel like it claims to be. I mean, it claims to be medium slash full coverage. I feel like this shade is still like lighter than my skin tone, but I feel like it looks a tiny bit deeper than the other concealer. So this is the Conceal and Hydrate. I don't know why, but I feel like it's looking a bit patchy, like especially on my eyelid. I feel like it's blended a bit weird, which is odd. I wasn't expecting that. It's also not, it's definitely not as full coverage as this side. I don't know if you can tell. I feel like I can see my bag still a bit here, and I can still see my veins a little bit. It's got pretty decent coverage, but it's just not full coverage in my opinion. This one, in my opinion, is full coverage, and I actually feel like I like the finish of this one better as well, which I was expecting to like the finish of this one better, but I actually feel like it's gone a bit patchy on my eyelid. I'm really not so sure about this, guy. It's not looking nice in my bare skin. We will obviously see what it's like over the top of foundation. From this alone, I would say I'm much preferring the Revolution Pro Ultimate Coverage Crease Proof Concealer. I like this quite a lot, just on bare skin. But I'm just going to wipe it off this eye so you can see this eye compared to no concealer. Okay, so I've wiped the concealer off this side now so you can see like the coverage difference. Obviously it does have some coverage, but I wouldn't say it's whole coverage. I just really do not like how it's sat on my eye. I'm hoping that it looks better over the top of foundation. Sometimes concealers do look better on the top of foundation and just not on bare skin. I just feel like it looks really patchy and kind of dry on my skin almost, which is weird because it's called Conceal and Hydrate. I'll wipe this off here as well, and I'm going to use this as a base for eyeshadow because I feel like that would work quite well as a base for eyeshadow. I've bought 3 palettes in total from Revolution, but I'm going to use the other 2 in the other first impressions videos that I mentioned. But the one that I'm going to use today is the I Heart Revolution Sprinkles palette, Rainbow Sprinkles. I don't know, but the packaging looks so cute. Like, I love that. That is adorable. And the colours are very bright and vibrant. The shade in particular I need to use because I swatched it and oh my god, it was so nice. So I need to use this blue shade called Jelly Bean. I'm looking at it and none of them really look particularly matte. There are some sort of shades where it's like there's shimmer in it, but it's not overly shimmery, so you could kind of pass it off as a matte. But there's no like just straight up mattes in this palette. But that's okay. I'm not one of those people that subscribes to the notion that, you know, you can't use something with a bit of shimmer in it for your crease. I mean, I just don't agree with that philosophy. But I'm going to do one eye off camera just so I can hopefully make something that I'm happy with. But all I know is I'm using Jelly Bean because that's stunning. Okay, so this is the eye look we've done. Quite like it. I feel like the only shade that was like a little bit disappointed with is the pink that I've used in the center. Like, it has shown up pretty well, but it's just like very buildable. Like, it takes quite a while to get there. And it's like it's not the most vibrant, you know, like shimmery pink I've used. Obviously I've only used a handful of colors here. There's definitely loads more colours I want to use in this. I feel like there's a lot of different eyeshadow looks I can do with this. So I started off by using this yellow shade called Sugared Almond. This one here. And that's going like above the crease. As I said, they are all shimmers, so I do feel like when you're putting a shimmer for the crease in this sort of brush, I just feel like naturally it is going to take more like building, because I feel like shimmers are normally sort of the sort of thing that you pack on as opposed to like kind of blend like this, if you get what I mean. And I'm also going to like intensify that a bit with the shade called Toffee, which is more of a like kind of goldy sort of colour, like a yellow toned gold. And I'm kind of just going over the same sort of area with that just to kind of make it pop a bit more. See, like it definitely does build up to be really pigmented. It's just like because of the shimmers, I feel like you do need to like work with it a bit when you're using this sort of brush and it's going through the crease. This next shade, however, Jelly Bean, you don't need that much patience with. This is just very pigmented from the get-go. And it has, again, it has got a bit of shimmer in it, but I feel like it's not like super duper shimmery, so it does kind of go on a bit better with a blending sort of brush. Like, it's really pigmented. And obviously it's coming out a little bit more green toned because it's being blended into like a yellow, but that's fine. Then I'm using the like dark purple called Raisin, this one here, and that's going in the outer part of the eye. I'm using the Revolution Pro concealer to carve out the crease, which I like this as a base eyeshadow, but I'm not so sure I like it for like a cut crease sort of thing. just because it's quite thick. I just found when I was like blending it with my brush, it was kind of like drying a bit too fast and stuff. And I think maybe this eyeshadow would have performed better in a different sort of base, but I'll just have to wait and see and try it at a later date. This is something that I should have been doing the whole time. I watched like a Jasmine hand video the other day and I was like, why have I not been doing this with my cut creases? This is why they never look blended properly, but I'm sort of blending the purple into the concealer before we put the shade on. Then I'm using Shrimps, which is this pale pink shade, which definitely needs a bit of work. But again, it could be the concealer that maybe just doesn't agree with, but we'll get there in the end. I just need a lot of building with this. I'm using my brush to start with, and then I'll go in with my finger to intensify it. I'm using the bright blue again to do a bit of blending. Then I'm using the shimmery bright called Sherbet, and that's going under the brow bone. And I think they look the same. I'm pretty impressed with the palette. The only shade that I was a little bit underwhelmed with is the center pink shade called Shrimps. I still think it looks fine. It's just like I wish it packed a little bit more punch. Again, it could be just a concealer that it doesn't blend well on top of. We'll just have to try with that. But everything else I think looks stunning. Yeah, I do feel like the shades need a bit of work, but as I said, I think that's because they're shimmers, and shimmers generally, most people don't use them like through the crease and stuff, but like this palette is basically all shimmers, so I don't really have much of a choice. There's like way more shades in here that I want to try. Like I just really like the color scheme of this. There's just so many colors that I'm like really intrigued by. There's red I need to try, this like coppery one, the greens, like there's just so much in this palette I want to try. Obviously I'm going to keep trying it throughout the month and I'll have updated thoughts on it. I do my eyeliner and my mascara off camera because, as I said, I don't have any new Revolution products for that. Done. So let's move on to some base products. So of course it's the Conceal and Hydrate foundation that I have brought. I mean, it's the only new foundation they have, so obviously. I got it in the shade 0.2, which in hindsight I'm thinking I should have got 0.3. I feel like this is going to be a bit light for me. I mean, let's just go in and find out, shall we? It is more of a warm toned one, which is what I wanted, but I feel like it might be a bit too light. So when it comes to like matte or dewy, I don't really mind. I feel like I prefer like satin, like semi-matte, and I don't like foundations that are overly dry. I feel like in theory I should like this foundation. Like I do like hydrating foundations because I don't like dryness in my foundations. Yeah, the shade is a tiny bit too light. I probably could have done with getting 0.3 instead, but we'll make it work. Definitely like a shade light for me. I probably should have got the shade below this one. It's not like super duper ridiculously pale or anything. Like I can fix this, you know, with bronzer and stuff. I think it looks nice. The coverage is really good, definitely. I would say like it's a high, medium, low fold coverage. Like I'm definitely happy with the coverage that it gives. I mean, I personally don't think this is super dewy. To me, looks more like kind of semi-matte to me. I don't look at this and immediately think, wow, radiance. But it's definitely not matte. It's definitely not dry at all. I think it does look a little bit heavy in the skin. Again, I may have just put like too much on. I definitely did put too much on, especially on my forehead. It does look a bit like foundation-y. I will admit that. It's not perfect looking, but overall I think it looks nice. Like I'm happy with it. Next time I use it I will put like a little bit less on, I think, and that may improve it slightly, but first impressions, it's nice enough foundation. I like it. It's been like ages since I've used the Conceal and Define foundation, so I don't really actually remember. I am going to retry it at some point because I'm reviewing all my foundations. I can't really say much in terms of comparing the two. Okay, so I'm apprehensive about these guys because I didn't like how it looked with my bare skin. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick with this guy under my eyes just because it's going to brighten because it's a bit lighter. And then I'm going to use I'm going to use C0.3 on my nose and on any blemishes on my face. I'm not going to use too much of this because we don't need too much. I'm literally just going to tap like a little bit on, I think, just under my eyes. This is the concealed side. I can notice an immediate difference. Like that has got some really good coverage. I definitely like this concealer a lot, but I feel like it's the sort of thing where you only need like a really small bit. I feel like, I don't know, I've got a bad feeling it might not work well with powder, just because I feel like the more product I have under my eyes, the more likely it is that my powder is gonna like separate and stuff. It's just a thing that I have with my eyes and setting powder. But yeah, I like this, good coverage, and it doesn't look too cakey, which is nice. But I feel like less is definitely more. So I'm gonna use 0.3, and I'm just gonna pop a bit of this. Yeah, this is definitely darker than the, of course it's darker than 0.2, obviously. I'm just putting this like around my mouth and on my nose just to add a bit more coverage. I wouldn't say it's gone patchy on the bits that I've just put on now, so I think maybe that was just a bare skin under eye sort of thing. Obviously I need to use this under my eyes with foundation on it another time, but yeah, that's fine. It's added a bit more coverage, it's not done anything drastic. I definitely do have to say that I prefer this guy over the Conceal and Hydrate. I'm not hating the Conceal and Hydrate, but I'm not like obsessed with it as of now. I need more time with it though. Now this is where things normally go wrong. Setting powder. So this one isn't a new one, but I did want to try it. It's the Makeup Obsession Pure Bake Transparent Baking Powder, which is a loose powder. And I obviously got the new Revolution Loose Setting Powder. I think it's called the Conceal and Fix. This is in the shade Translucent. They have a few different shades of this. I thought I'd just play it safe and stick with the translucent one. They're both like white, so I feel like I could just basically do half and half on the face. There's not going to be a colour difference or anything because they're both transparent. Conceal and Fix powder is already going everywhere. Wonderful. I don't need that much product because the foundation was such good coverage in the first place. That's the thing. And that concealer is full coverage. I feel like this is the sort of thing that I'd want to use on a more sort of light coverage foundation or a more light to medium coverage foundation. I feel like this would work better. Or if I just want to use concealer on its own, I feel like I would use this definitely. But maybe on like a more like high medium to full coverage foundation, it might not necessarily be the best sort of thing to use. Nonetheless, let's set our face. So I'm using the Conceal and Fix powder first, which I'll do on this side of the face. I got a bad feeling about this. From first impressions, but it does look a bit heavy, a bit like dry on the skin, definitely. It's not separated my under eye concealer yet, which is good. I do find that for some reason, this side of my face, I don't normally get a weird separation with my under eye concealer, but on this side of my face, I do for some reason. I don't understand why. Just sometimes powders do need a little bit of time to adapt to your skin, but to like sit on the skin. But I mean, I just feel like it looks a bit like textured. I don't know how you can see this on camera. I just overall feel like it looks a bit heavy, but we'll let it sit there. Has it mattified? Yeah, it feels matte. It feels a little bit sticky in some areas, but I think I might have just not put enough powder on. But I feel like, yeah, it does mattify, definitely. On the other side of my face, I'm going to use the Makeup Obsession Pure Bake Transparent Baking Powder. See if this formula is any different. So this one doesn't have like that sort of like, you know, the little dots you get in it. This one you generally, you just have to take literally this whole thing off and just be very careful with it. I know that one day, if I like this powder and want to use it regularly, I just know one day that this is going to end up on the floor. But yeah, you take it out like that and then you've got a lid to tap it into, which is good. Oh no, that may be too much. So obviously I don't really like to bake. I just don't feel like it works. I just feel like when I use like small amounts of powder, it goes cakey. So like, why would I bake? That just sounds like a disaster. Right, so we're gonna set the other side now. This one has definitely got a softer texture. It's gone a bit patchy in some areas though, like here. I don't know if you can see, it's just clung a bit weirdly, and also just like at the sides bits of my nose. I don't know if that's just application errors that I'm making, or I feel like this side overall does, if you ignore the bits where it's got a bit patchy, I feel like this side looks kind of softer and smoother. This side I feel looks like a bit more gritty, like the texture in the skin. But then there's some patchiness here. Don't know if it's my brushes or what. I mean, I'm not like mad about either of these, but I will definitely like give them more of a chance, definitely. So for cheeks, we've got this guy. This is the Revolution Pro Sculpt and Glow Contour and Highlighter Palette, and I've swatched the highlighter and it looks so pretty. So I'm looking like super pale right now, so let's hope this bronzer adds some warmth back into my complexion. See, it's described as like a contour, but to me it looks like more like warm toned. It looks like a more sort of bronzy shade to me, and it's super pigmented. We're gonna need to tap that off. So I'm just gonna pat this to my cheek and my forehead area. Super pigmented. It's also very reddy, which I'm not mad about. I prefer the tone of the like Renaissance Revolution one. I don't know if you remember that. It's still in my collection somewhere, but I prefer the tone of that bronzer. This one's a bit too red for me. But let's blend it out because that is super pigmented and I've put way too much on. Yeah, I'm not mad about that bronzer. The tone's just not for me. I mean, it has blended out alright, but I still feel like it's just a little bit too pigmented for me. I prefer something a bit more subtle. So I feel like the highlighter may be the standout of this palette. Highlighter is quite pale and it's got a little bit of a pink tone to it, which is nice. It should work with my skin tone. But it's got some pigment. Let's ooh, pretty. Oh, she's so pretty. I love that. That's a gorgeous highlighter. It's so pretty. The highlighter in this, yes. Bronzer, not so sure about. I'll keep trying it though, but I really like the highlighter in this. I think it's super pretty and pigmented. So, Revolution Pro came out with some new brow products, which was very exciting for me. The brow gel totally looks like the thing that I'm into. So it's called the Revolution Pro Volume and Sculpt Gel, and I got the shade Dark Brown. And I love brow gels with small ones. They are the ones for me. And that is exactly the type of wand that I want. So I'm hoping that there is not too much excess product on this. Ooh, right, yeah, quite a bit's coming off the wand. So let's get rid of any excess of that. And then hopefully this isn't super splodgy, because that will be my issue. There is a bit of excess on that, definitely. Just is not, I'm not mad about that. So I'm just brushing through my brows. The colour is very dark. There are people screaming down my street. I just heard someone shout, "You criminal." Okay, right, so I'm not, like, the brow gel is okay. I do feel like there is like a bit too much excess on it for me. Like, I feel like I could very easily make that very splodgy and fuck it up, but I feel like it's not too bad. So it's not replacing my e.l.f. Brow Wow. It's my favourite brow gel. Or Benefit Give Me Brow for a high-end option. But it's not bad. I definitely don't hate this as much as the two brow gels I used last month, which was the ABH one and the Barrier Brow Wand. But I've also got the Revolution Pro Define and Fill Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Ash Brown. I thought I got dark brown. No, it does say dark brown at the top. Okay. I'm just going to use this to just define my brows a little bit more. That brow pencil's pretty good. I like that. I don't hate these brows. They're okay. A little bit darker than what I normally go for, but I mean, I do dye my hair black regularly, which I need to do because my roots are very ashy right now. When my hair's more in its black prime, I'll suit this colour a bit more. I like the brow pencil a lot, but the brow gel, I'm not obsessed with it. It's a little bit too much product, a little bit too much excess, you know. Okay, so we're going to finish off the eyes now. I'm going to put the highlighter in my inner corner. So I'm going to use the yellow and the gold shade just on my lower lash line. My under eyes have started to separate now. I'll kind of get closer so you can see that. Like, I don't know. Like, it just goes really kind of weird under my eyes. And on this side as well. just does it. It just does it. And when it does that, I tend to cover it up with eyeshadow. And I'm using Jelly Bean, the blue again, close to the lash line. Yeah, the yellow has gone down way too far on this side, but I'm going to put some mascara on my bottom lashes. So last we've got lip products. So I brought 2 of the Revolution Pro New Neutral Satin Matte Lipsticks. I've got the shade Cashmere and Stripped. I'll use one of these in this video, and then I'll use one of them in one of my other first impression videos. One's got a bit more of a pinky tone, one's more of a brownie tone, and honestly, like, I don't even mind which one I use. Okay, we're going with Cashmere today. That's what the colour is like. Very pinky nude sort of colour. Okay, they're super pigmented, super creamy. That colour is beautiful. I really like that. I look forward to trying the other shade. The shade is actually Stripped. I think I'd mixed the boxes up. So this one's Stripped. The other one that's more brownie is Cashmere. Whoopsie daisy. I'm just gonna go sort my hair out and I'll be back. Okay, so this is the finished look. So what do I think overall? So my favourite products are definitely the eyeshadow palette. I mean, look at the vibrancy, like, this is serious vibrancy. I can't wait to keep playing around with this. I think it's a very nice palette. I think all the shades that I've used today, minus maybe Shrimp, which I'm not 100% sure about, but I'm not writing it off either. But I generally think this is a really nice palette and I can't wait to do more looks with it. I like the foundation and I think I like this concealer, but I wouldn't put it on top of like a full coverage foundation. The foundation and this concealer I do like. The Conceal and Hydrate concealer I'm not so sure about though. I will need to keep playing with that. Both of the powders I'm not mad about from first impressions, but I will try them out in different ways. But I definitely feel like they're very like texturized my skin quite badly and they look pretty naff under my eyes. I'm a little bit disappointed with the brow gel. I don't think it's totally awful or anything, but I just feel like I expected a bit more. I like the brow pencil though. I think that worked really well for just giving a bit more definition and precision. I really like the lip product. I really like the highlighter from the Sculpt and Glow palette, but I'm not so sure about the bronzer. I'm just not sure it's the right tone for me. It's a bit too reddish. So yeah, I feel like most of the products I've liked. A lot of products I feel like I need to just keep trying in different ways and get to the bottom of how they truly perform. Any updated thoughts I have will be in my August, September makeup recap video, so this won't be the last time I speak about them on my channel. But I've had fun trying some new Revolution products today. And there are a couple more Revolution products in my other videos as well. Like I've got 2 more eyeshadow palettes, I've got a bronzer palette as well, and I'm going to try that other lip colour as well. So there's a couple more Revolution products I've got to try out in my other 2 first impressions, which will be up. Hopefully they're both up this month, but I don't know because my powder might take a while to get here, so that might be up. At least one more of them will be up this month. So thank you for watching this video and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.